it's been a bit unfortunate with regards to the profit, but that was heavily impacted by a weather outage at Ernest Henry. And so when we look at the statutory profit of $205 million, if you take into consideration the $150 million of delayed revenue from the operation being out for a couple of months, our profit would have been up. So it's true, as you say, inflation has had a role to play. We saw 5% increase in our operating costs of around $70 million in the year. We do see some of that stabilising now, and our focus is on how do we manage the margin of the business back to where it should be. Coming forward, Ernest Henry's back to full production from June, so we expect to see some of that cash flow come back and therefore also help reducing our costs, because Ernest Henry comes with a portion of copper. And in terms of the labour market, we certainly have seen that stabilise a bit. As we said on the call this morning, we'd expect about a 5 to 6% increase in our labour costs. However, we are going to see production up 18%, our all-in sustaining costs down 6%, and our capital investment and the capital intensity is dropping by about 15% as well. So it all goes well moving forward.
On the cost side, how much of that is just going to be in terms of, the copper offsetting, and how much of that is going to be in terms of, being able to mitigate some of, the lingering input costs that we've seen? Because at the same time as, you can have an expectation that the labour markets, and everything else might improve, that energy prices might improve, it could turn for the worse if you get my point. So is it a strategic push to really try and drive down the costs at all the ops?
Well, I think the first thing I'd highlight there is our labour costs make up 50% of our cost base, and we've allowed for a 5 to 6% increase in that guidance number of 1,370. When we look at then energy costs, we've got contracts already in place for 2 to 8 years across our business, so we don't expect any impact on our power costs this year. And then so when we look at all of the other costs, the impact on our cost base is not as material as labour and power and oil. So the benefit that the copper will does give us a bit of a benefit in terms of dropping back to that 1,370. But I think the allowance that we've made for inflation is giving us confidence that we're not going to see further impact through FY24. And I think the other thing to point out is, as I said, that increase of 18% in production in FY24 is coming from two of our mines, which are coming at a higher grade, which is therefore going to give us that benefit in the all-in sustaining cost as well.